All right. All right. I'm coming out of the recorder because I've shot this video like 4 or 5 times trying to get it right. So here's the deal. Let me put my tin hat on. Okay, here, you hear me? I'm putting my tin hat on. I'm just asking the question. And I'd like anybody who listens to this, comment in the comment section on like, what do you think? So it seems like every time I come into a tournament for whatever holes, we're all wanting to practice for the summer major. Anybody who plays in tournaments, and there is a percentage of people who play the game who do not play tournaments. And that's their choice. It's a game. They can do it however they want. Okay, but I'm a tournament player, so I like to play tournaments, and I hardly ever play just casual stuff. I used to play all the time, but trying to prep for these tournaments, I got okay. We're in tour 6. And we've got 3 courses. So that means that there's 18 regular holes and there's 9 shootouts. And so I have a 1 in 18, so a 6 out of 18. And 1/3 of the time, I'm gonna get one of those courses that's in there because we have 3 courses. And there's no ranking on the courses. So I mean, like if Playdemic said, "Well, this course is harder," and they ranked it, then that would be a different story. But they're not ranked. We have these 3 courses. And so we should get an equal amount. I got a Southern Pines hole, and then 14 holes ago, I got a Southern Pines hole. And so 14 divided by 3 is 4.66. So if I played 14 games, I should have got somewhere around 4.66 times should I have been at Southern Pines. Okay, let's just round it down and say everything gets rounded down while it's on a tournament thing. That means I should have got it twice as often as I did. Now, this is the Playdemic. This is really bad business because not only is it for people who are streaming and who are trying to put out content to get other people excited about these holes so that they can get online and get them, and we're not getting them. So what happens when somebody's not getting what they want? They go to something else. Okay, we quit playing. So like I I promote you to do whatever it is you want to do in this game. And typically, if you're spending a lot of money, you're probably not listening to my channel because people who are spending a lot of money should be able to move themselves up the ranks. And it's not about clubs. It's about having the right ball to complement the clubs that you have, to complement the hole. And it's understanding that on this hole, I need this type of ball. And so there's a lot more to it than just going out there and just like going up. That's why Tour 8, Tour 9, that's like the separation point between people who are really wanting to like work up towards and get up to that point where they're in Masters and people who just want to play casually. And there's a lot of people that hit that wall and then they stop playing. But people who want to find an outlet to play where they want to come down and when they want to play rookie, where we've got brackets. We have a pro bracket, an expert bracket, and a master's bracket. I encourage new players, if you're new listening to the channel, to slow play your account. Okay, slow play your account and work on your clubs and have fun down in tours 2, 3, and 4. There is a ton of, I love to go down because we can play those in one-on-one versus our teammates. And there's a lot of times where we like to go down, like if there is no tournament we're practicing for, we'll go down and play tour 3 because tour 3 you use a lot of your short iron and it's a point where you're at right now, that short iron stuff is really helping you. So it's a great tour to go practice in. But they're just, they're encouraging us not to play by not giving us at least an equal share of what I expect that I'm going to get 6 out of 18 of those holes. But getting 2 out of 14 is not making, that doesn't make sense when you're trying to get your customer base to stay playing and not go, hey man, I played for an hour and I got the hole like one time. Because if I was in between right there, I really would have. I would have got it one time in an hour's worth of play. So, I mean, and that's over an hour. I've shot video where I only have, that's the deal. I can't, like, I'm trying to produce content and I don't mind posting just Tour 6 stuff. And I should post those videos because we're playing holes that you're going to encounter while we're playing. But can you at least be a little teeny bit fair about giving us an equal share of the holes? And I mean, if anybody agrees with that, I mean, I encourage you to comment on this video. If you disagree, comment as well. I mean, I'm not saying that I am not, there is no way in hell that Playdemic would ever manipulate anything while we're on the field, as far as like our shot, what's on our side, like our shot stuff, where they like assist you. They go, hey, we want that guy to do the deal. They don't know. But there are things that as a business that they can do in their programming for like, let's take elevations as an example. When the game first started, we didn't have to do, there was some movement where the ball would carry a little bit more, but the deal was is that it wasn't as critical, and they've been able to tighten that up in their math so that we have to get more and more and more accurate, and that whole deal takes a lot more resources for it to be able to flow to the point where we can make that tight of an adjustment. And because they're graphics, like some way to maybe turn the graphics down on some devices that might speed it up. I don't think that it's on. Playdemic likes to say it's all on our end, but it's really, I mean, I've updated everything at my house, and I'm still getting the occasional lag. And it's just like the Sequoia Creek holes. Anytime I'm playing the Sequoia Creek holes, I definitely get lag. And we've had other courses that have come out where we've had brand new holes that came out that we have issues with them. And so like finding out what those are. But I mean, anybody that disagrees with how they're doing this whole freaking deal during tournaments, I mean, we're trying to practice for the tournament. We're trying to get excited. Guess what? If you get a whole bunch of people excited and we know these holes, and you come out with a ball, instead of just coming out with some random shit, coming out with a couple balls that will make, like, you can be influencing the tournament. And don't say that you're not already, because if you didn't want to influence the tournament, you wouldn't sell any balls during the tournament. You would only sell balls during non-tournament week. Because once the tournament starts, you have to start with what you came with as far as the balls go. I mean, I would really like to see where you have to define a set of clubs where, like, I'm playing the tournament, I'm playing the qualifying round with this set of clubs. I think the two things they could do to tighten up tournaments is make adjustable wind. Make the wind so that in the qualifying round, we're all getting whatever the wind is, but everybody's getting whatever the wind is. And then when the opening round comes, the wind is blowing in a different direction. And it could be blowing from the opposite direction, just making a cross. And it could be side wind, it could be headwind, it could be whatever. But everybody that plays the opening round gets that wind. And then in the final round, we have a different win. Now, I will tell you that anybody that has multiple accounts will be able to benefit from that because they'll be able to go out and play, but there'll be content out. So for people to put out content, you'll have to have a multiple account so that you can go out and post video of what the wins look like that day. But this right here is not helping, and it's not just me because I'm shooting videos. The average player that's out there, you are not exciting your customer base, and your customer base is largely at home right now. And so there's times when they could play the game, and if they were getting Southern Pines holes, especially if they were getting them more often. Now, I will say that normally, what I don't like about one-on-one play is that you'll get a lot of headwind on drives, but then the next shot you'll be getting tailwind. Wind doesn't work that way. Not unless you're in. There are some shots where you can get caught in trees where the wind is. It's coming up a mountain or it's coming through the trees in one direction, and then it's got a side draft. And so when you get it outside, the wind's blowing. You've got a weird wind. I totally get that, but like having the wind, we have a 10-mile-an-hour headwind, and now we've got a 4-mile-an-hour tailwind. Okay, that's 180-degree change in direction. That's not. And that's how it used to be in tournaments when they first started. You would go out there and me and you may play, and we may get on that hole and go, dang, we're on that par 5 and you need headwind or you need tailwind. You need to get as far as you can because of where your clubs are, and you need to use the wind, and the winds, we're getting headwind. But the next group that plays in real life that gets on that same hole and they're playing in a tournament may get an 8-mile-an-hour tailwind. And so originally that's how the tournaments played, and it was a little harder to win because you could go out there with the best of intentions, but if you didn't get the right wind, you were screwed. And in some respects, that actually wasn't a bad idea, but they did it the wrong way. They did it the same way they do wind right now in one-on-one, where 1 minute it's blowing, we're getting a 10-mile-an-hour tailwind, and the next minute we're getting an 8-mile-an-hour headwind. That's a tornado. Okay, we don't play in a tornado. That's another freaking tin hat moment right there. I mean, come on, guys. Jesus, are you not trying to help your customer base? I mean, really, I mean, anybody who's listening to this video has listened to this point. I mean, if you're just like, I just want to rant about it. I mean, I'm not the only one. I read the stuff in my clan, and there's things that are getting frustrating about the game that's making people not want to play because if people who play in tournaments now, anybody who doesn't play in a tournament, they look at Tour Six and they go, "Hey, it's tournament week, and everybody's playing in Tour Six. So if you're not a tournament player or you don't normally play in Tour Six, maybe you haven't quite got to Tour Six. This might be a tough week because you're going to get a lot of people who play rookie masters, rookie expert, rookie pro, rookie. That's going to be a whole mix. So in one-on-one, there is some bracketing, but you could go up against somebody who's got quite a bit more games than you. He does have better clubs. But the deal is that in most cases in one-on-one, your clubs, it's going to a shootout. And when we're talking about like getting into the hole and knowing all the numbers and knowing exactly like, hey, we have to do an adjustment on this hole is one thing, but it's a crazy deal because that doesn't make a lot. But if you don't play Tour Six on a regular basis, this is a tough week to play Tour Six. It may be, but if you're getting into Tour Six and you like Tour Six and you got the bankroll, roll with it, man. This is a great week because there's a lot of players that come down that you'll beat their ass. And I'm getting my, that's the same thing. So I shot a video on Thursday and it had a couple Southern Pines holes in it. And then I shot another video right after it, and I didn't get any Southern Pine holes for that hour, that eight holes. And then I shot 2 videos yesterday and didn't get any. And then I got this morning, I played for about 40 minutes and I didn't, and I got, this is where I'm at. I played about 40 minutes and I played some this afternoon and that was where I was. I'm not sure what time I played, but whenever those were, that was the deal. So, I mean, if you're not giving us the holes, you're not promoting us to play. If people play, they're going to know more about the stuff. They're going to be more prepared. Okay, it's practice for anything. I mean, in a game like this, you get to practice more than you do a lot in the real world. So, like in the real world, like NASCAR, they used to be able to practice damn near whenever they wanted. They could go if they rented Charlotte or they went to one of these big tracks and they worked whatever they do with the track and worked it out. They just go there and practice on the weekend. And they'd go to some tracks, and so they practiced a lot. They practiced a lot, especially with newer drivers. But now you have simulators, so they don't have to, and they don't practice. They cut back on how much practicing they can get. But you take the Tour de France. I'm a huge Tour de France fan. Like that, like the one sporting event of this year that will bum me out the most that I didn't get to watch was the Tour de France because it may sound strange, and I'm not a bike rider. I like racing. And so, and I understand bicycle racing. There's a lot of strategy that's involved, and there's a big hierarchy that's involved, and you got to know. But the terrain when they're riding and you're watching it on TV, it's absolutely beautiful. You're just riding through the countryside in France or one of these countries. It's awesome. But the bike riding itself, it's a big deal. So, just sports. Tour de France. Watch the Tour de France. They are definitely not exciting me about freaking playing this game. All right, I'm going to play a couple holes and we'll see what we get. How much time I got on this video? I vented for 13 minutes. All right, I'll take my tin cap off and we'll go out and we'll see if we can finish up. I only got to get three on my pin chest, and I'm sure there's another one behind it. All right, let's make sure. I'm going to see what I'm going to carry in my bag. And this is one of the benefits of being in a Masters clan. Getting in a clan that plays tournaments. I mean, you can go out there and grind and be in one of those grinder tournaments, but if you just want to have more bags at your disposal, you can get in a clan that promotes tournaments. I mean, that's the whole deal. So I'm going to take, and I've got a backup that's got a Guardian, and it's got a Goliath because there's one of the newer holes, newer configurations that I want to see if there's a rough bump, and I need an extra mile to get to the spot. So I'm going to bring a Goliath on that hole just so that if I get in that shot, I can see if I have enough topspin to do a rough bump. But I don't normally use a Goliath, so it's my number 5 bag. Got an accurate bag, rocking a sniper. I got my big dog, Big Tapa. That's what I'm talking about. That is my utility bag. There isn't anything I can't really do with this bag that I can't do with the other 2 bags. It's just each one has place. And then I got an Apocalypse. I don't use an Apocalypse very often. I think when it gets to level 5, I might be enticed to use it. And it's got more curl, but I'm used to the curl on an Extra Mile. And this has a little bit less bog. I don't know. There's really, like, the backspin doesn't really come into play as far as I'm concerned with the driver. If backspin came into play, there's better drivers. And then I've got my backup back. I'm just going to go play some Tour 6. Yeah, talking about clubs, I mean, the whole deal is that I have an awesome set of clubs, but my clubs were not, I'm not saying they were, I had a lot of 7s. I had a couple 8s. The very first club that I ever got to level 8 was my Extra Mile. It's the first club I worked on. I played Tour 2 a ton. I'm never going to apologize about having a level 9 Apocalypse. Okay, I mean, that's the deal. I worked really, really, really hard to get an Apocalypse, or my Extra Mile, to level 8. And so it was the very first rare I got to level 8. I'm going to go over full ring 2, 4, 5. Just taking out the side wind. Hitting it perfect. Let's see if it lands in the fairway. It's a little too deep. Well, with that headwind, it's hard to tell, but it puts me on the side that I want, but I'm not going to be far enough out there with that headwind to get the shot that I'm looking for. I'd have to bring out a bigger ball. If the wind's blowing with us, you can do a max overpower hook shot on that, where you're running your ball guide right along this line. You got tons of room on this side, and you really want to be lower than higher. So you can come in one ring, but you'll be able to do it as long as you catch it all if you have a tailwind. But if you're bringing out like a power 4 or a power 5 ball, your forward distance is so much further out there that you need to move over to the right a little bit, because you're getting so far out, you'll clip that peninsula. And you got tons of room on the right. So you can actually probably come out 2 rings and you'd still be fine. But one ring, do it at one ring, though. If you haven't taken that shot before, you can do it at one ring, and you can do it with a marlin, you can do it with anything. The problem is if you don't get far enough down here, you won't be able to reach that island, and you'll have a tough ass time trying to get over. And I should have brought my big topper. My big topper's I probably could have got farther down there with my big topper. Ooh. Yeah. Shooting a video.
You're what?
Shooting a video. You want to sit while I'm playing? We have guests at our house tonight, so she's asking what I'm doing. What's your name?
Sophia.
Sophia. So Sophia's in the house. And her dad, my brother-in-law, my brother. See if we can get past that sand. Nope, not quite. Not quite enough curl. A little bit more curl, and that would have been in a much better spot. So you can with the power 3 going against the headwind, but looking at how far you can get down there, and you can see why I wish that I would have had a big dog. Big topper was all right, but or Extra Mile was all right, but a big topper I think would have worked better. So in one-on-one, if you have that utility bag, you can bring that utility bag here. But I have no idea where the line is out there on your big topper, where to start the shot off at. But you'll only have to take that shot one time and mess up, and you'll immediately know whether you need to come in or you need to come out. I'd probably start maybe 2 rings to the right. Got a 7 wind from this distance. All right, here we roll. Oh, 2 ring great to the left. And this is a dangerous ass hole. I'm going to end up in the sand. This is a dangerous hole. I do not like to come in at this hole from the other side at all. I've come in from the other side when I first started playing, because when you first started playing, number one, we didn't know really the max overpower hook shot. Like, it took a while before we figured that out, because if you just try and like drive it straight down there, we didn't have a lot of power 4 and power 5 balls. And so that was a shot that we didn't take a lot. So we almost always went to the left. Holes like this, I hope they never change The deal is they're making some of these par fives easier, and they're making, like the last tournament we played, several of the Greenock Point holes, they made them significantly easier. And the whole deal is that the game should be, part of the fun of it is that there are some tough holes in here. I think as a base, people would prefer, the people that play your game the most would prefer that the game had tougher holes, because the deal is that you want to talk about separation. Like those people that can play those holes really well, and they have to have, and the whole deal is that whether as a player you like it or not, Playdemic is a ball manufacturer. They do diddly squat for their customer base, but they're a ball manufacturer. I mean, think about when was the last time Playdemic actually did something for their customer base. I mean, on the third anniversary, they didn't make a big deal of it. They didn't have a celebration for the whole week. They didn't like do some big deal about it and give us a pack of balls, or there was any time anybody in your clan bought something, everybody in your clan got a gift or some crap. They didn't. Now, and part of it is that that's the deal is that I think they would get their customer base more excited if the customer base had something to buy. All right. I've got a Guardian. Can I get there? And that's going to be close. Okay, it's 1.2 per ring, 1.1 per ring. So there's 4.4. Let's see how short I am. Isn't it perfect? See if I got enough overpower on there to get me through what I was short. If we don't have, if you can take that shot right there with a Guardian, we have a headwind. So if you have any kind of wind other than a headwind, you could do it with a Titan or whatever that ball was. I think it was a Titan. So you can do it with a Titan. The king of balls. That's right. See that little print that's underneath it there? I can see it. It says king of balls. This is the other way that you can go at it. So there's several ways. I like to come at it. You can do that same shot I did with a rocket. And you can bring a lower power ball. And if you got an upper developed rocket, it has lots of backspin. But this shot right here, and here's the deal on this hole. If the wind's blowing the way that it is, I'll take the shot from the other side, because I can pull out into the clear instead of having to pull over that sand. The thing about a Guardian on that particular hole is that, and I've played that shot a bunch of times, is that you can't really do the bounce over. How much time I got on this video? Hey, we got all kinds of time. If the video, for whatever reason, stops, thanks for watching. Clear slide. I may play, sometimes I don't catch it. So if you're not a subscriber, subscribe to the channel. When I originally started, I had like 52% of the people that listen to my channel weren't subscribers, and I think it's the other way around now. So I have like 52% of the people that listen to my channel are subscribers, and the rest aren't. Either casual listeners or, subscribe to help out the channel. It helps out the channel when we have more subscribers. I mean, having 1,500 subscribers, then it changes the deal. I like doing I like streaming, but I also like shooting these videos right here where I can just be chilling out. I suppose I could be chilling out and streaming at the same time. I've been doing this with a bigger ball because I want to see what it looks like if I can get all the way over to the other side, but I can't remember how much topspin to put on. It's about a half a ring. It's actually a little less. I'm going to hit a 2 rings grade on the inside, which means I take the risk of clipping this tree. And if I clip that tree, I want to make it so that if I do clip that tree, I'm on the outside of that tree. So I'm trying to set up as far to the left as possible. I'm trying to get as far out there as I can, and I could have put a little more topspin on. I used to hit, and I like the way that it comes in because you've got more of the green to work with, and coming in down here, but the pin is kind of, I don't know if the pin's on the side of a hill or if the pin's, I don't know what the deal is down there by the pin, but that shot has always been, I've had success on it, but it's killed me. It's been like the epic fails. Like this is the hole that you need to get it. So I'm just trying to look at it from a different angle to see if like what the shot looks like from over there. Is whatever that's causing me not to be as successful as I'd like to be on this hole because of the angle that I'm coming in. And sometimes that makes a big difference because you may get an irregular bounce from the way you were coming in. So in my Hornet, there's Max. I'm way back for min. So I'm towards the mid. Should be 1 point. I'm going to do 1.5 per ring. So there's 4, 5. There's 5. I'm going to do a little bit of an overpull. So I'm going to do 3.5 rings. Try and hit it perfect. Hit it one ring great to the right. If I was going to hit it one way or the other, I would have thought that it would have been left because the wind was blowing to the right. So I added on, I overpulled that. I added on that 10% and I overpulled it. So I didn't have to add anything onto it from where I was at 1.5 per ring. Because you're kind of in between clubs right there. And I should have pulled up higher right off the bat to see where the hell I was at. But I don't think this is one of the holes we're playing. So I'm spending my time so that you guys don't have to spend yours, or maybe you're playing at the same time. But like this is what it's like out there right now. We all know that if we were playing on any other week, like go to any other tour right now and just like stop playing Tour 6 and just go to some other tour and play it and see kind of like what the even mix of holes that you get. You get a pretty even mix. And then next week, if there's a tournament in that, it'll be just like it is now. 2 out of 14. Come on. I guess I put my tin cap back. What is the deal with the lag and the disconnects? Okay, I mean, like we came out with a new hole, and there's been other courses admit it, Playdemic, because here's the frustrating thing is that a lot of these games, they may have their issues. They may be pits that you're dumping money into, but like this is a pretty, this is a great game. And putting money into the game so Playdemic stays out there and stays in business is great, but helping your customer base and keeping them excited. They're not trying to keep us excited. Okay, what do I got? What do I got here? I got my Guardian again. I got another damn headwind. There's my red line. Back just a little, 1, 3, and I'm not going to do any. It's 1.1 per ring, so there's 1, 3 right back to the line. Oh, and I hit it great to the left. See how it lagged right there? The needle stopped. Too much backspin. So I think I put 6 on there so I can put on 5 because it's kind of a blind shot because you're hitting that hill and it's going to you've got all that backspin on there and you've got all that side spin on there. And so it's wanting to jerk it to the left as soon as it hits the ground, and it's hitting on the side of that little hill right there, which is kind of throwing it to the left. So it's a little bit of a blind shot. So once you get your distance right on like what kind of topspin, then you can start working down there on the course to figure out like where am I setting this up? Like where are my rings? What are my rings touching? Trying to triangulate it. So my white ring's on the outside rough and my blue ring's on the other side, or whatever the deal is. But trying to find some points that you can go back to. The other 2 ways to come at this hole, I might be able to do, if I get on this again in this video, if we get to that hole again, I will shoot it from the left-hand side. Good game. Good game. Rematch. Come on, bud. Come on, bro. Come on, look at me. There we go. Got ourselves a playa. Man, you catch people that want to replay so seldom. Hey, congratulations. Look at me. Thanks, buddy. pretty sad when our community doesn't do the whole replay thing. Win, lose, or draw. Come on, man. That's what this sport is all about. Is that mono a mono stuff? Because you can only play with grouping of 4. And 1 doesn't count, and anything more than 4 doesn't count. Oh, that might make it through. I was trying to leave myself enough room. Did it make it through? Nope. End up in the fairway? Yep. I could probably hit that 1 ring good. Or I hit that good, and I could probably hit a 2 ring great. The good's like a 3 ring great. Still got a shot from there, but would have been better down from below. Still got a shot I can make from right there. It's probably my short iron range. I have no idea if I'm supposed to make some elevation adjustment or not. I have 0. If I get done with this video, I'm going to shoot another video, and I ranted. I'll post this video first. I ranted. I didn't mean to. Hey, the whole deal is that this is just going through the deal. I'm not trying to offend anybody with the stuff, and if you are, then hey, I don't know. I mean, if that's, I'm not trying to have a conspiracy theory. It's just like that's my observation. If you guys have the same observation, comment in the comment section under this video. Either way, I mean, like start the deal, because it does seem like they. I got my Goliath in this bag. I'm way deep in my Goliath. My minimum club, I have no idea what the rings are, and a Goliath looks pretty damn accurate. I think the ball guide's lying. It's not quite as long as with my normal club here. I'll do 1.5 a ring. I'll do just a titch more because I'm going against headwind. Isn't it perfect? I have no idea where that's going to go because I don't know. I put that Goliath in there, and I don't know what the in the hole. I guess that was it. It looked like it was about 1. I mean, those rings are really small. They're a lot smaller than an extra mile, which is 2 per ring, but they looked a little bigger than a Grizzly, which is 1 per ring. So just counted them at 1.5, and I added on about 10%. I have no idea what the elevation is on that hole. That's the whole deal about one-on-one, is that you can go out there and you just play the holes. We're getting random wins. We're doing this stuff. If we're getting wins like that, and the winds change, multiple accounts will become a problem. I think the average casual player out there's probably got a couple accounts. The people that are playing your game the most, though, the ones that you really want to keep playing, are the people that have 6, 8 accounts. They're playing a lot during tournament week. They're buying balls for their accounts because they want their accounts to have the same. You won 1, I won 1, and now we don't want to play anymore. Come on, man, we could have a rubber match right there. Shit, sometimes I get beat 3 times in a row. Sometimes I win 3 times, and I don't get the bonus for that, because normally I only have 2 slots open. If you're really playing, that's the whole deal. You got to have slots open at all times. Thanks for watching up to this point. Tour 6. Let's get some Southern Pines. Southern Pines. Here we go. Southern Pines, hole 1, par 4. Look at that. And this is one of the ones that hole number 1 is, let's see if they changed the hole numbers for Southern Pines. They did. I'm going to use, with that wind, I'm going to use a Kingmaker. Let's see what the deal is. And can I get over there with that? I'm going to bring out a firework ball. Seven two 24672. hitting it perfect. Let's see if I can get that sucker to get up there and get me so that I can get in my longer range. Nope, didn't quite have enough. I needed a power 5 ball with that much headwind. If I could have caught that fairway right there, it would have bounced over the sand. It would have been fine, but catching that rough bled it in. That's the bummer. And that's the thing. Hey, this is something else that we encounter on a regular basis. And everybody who wants to comment on this one, you can add this comment on there. We get into this week right here, and all we're getting is headwind. So that means, like, let's just say, for instance, that the wind was blowing from the north to the south. Okay. And then in tournament play, you know that we're not going to get a headwind. We're going to get something that's on our side of the line. So if you draw a line between anything on the other side of the line is in some way blowing us off, blowing us further away from the hole, and everything on the other side of the line is blowing us forward. We're on our side of the line is what we're going to get on this hole. Now, if they were smart, they would give us headwind where you could get over there with a power 4 or a power 5 ball, and other than that, you'd have a really tough time. You'd have to catch it on one of the times where it was at the 3.6 instead of the 4.2, because at 4.2 you couldn't make it. At 3.6 you could. Now, you used to be able to get on from here, so the green was like right in this area right here, so they've lengthened this hole out. I'm going to try it from over here just to see like what this entryway looks like. And I got a lot more room out here, so it's going to be a little harder to get in trouble. 5-4, 2-4, 5-4. I'm not trying to get anything more. I'm taking the wind out, and I didn't have to. I'm just trying to lay it up out there. I have no idea where I'm going to be at and what club, and trying to hit it farther forward right there. I'm not going to be able to get in the wedge range. So sometimes it's better to be like where you're in your short iron, and I didn't have to take any risks. I got a pretty decent shot to get in from there. So I couldn't have got as far up here as I think you'd really want to be. I think I hit up to maybe this shadow right here. It's pretty dang short to the hole. You catch that where you can catch it all the way up, and we did have a slight tailwind. But typically in these tournaments, now look, we had a big headwind. Now we did change direction a little bit to the right, but we've now got a 6 mile an hour tailwind. So we changed direction 180 degrees in 5 minutes. So like if you're out on a regular golf course and you're walking from one shot to the next, it's about a 5 minute, it's less than 10 minutes that you need to be to the next shot. And if the golf course is really busy, you need to be playing every 5 minutes, every shot. You need to stay up with the group in front of you. And sometimes that's hard because the group in front of you can slow you down. And this is going to be one of those shots that I'm going to just come up close to it. It's 1.3 per ring at max. I'm going to pull back far enough that I can actually get in, move out the wind. 1.3. There's 2.6. 6.7. 3. I'm going to go about a half a ring past that. I'm going to hit it one ring great to the right. If I was going to hit it one way or the other, that was not the way to hit it. Like a one ring great to the left might have gone in the hole, but right, the way the wind's blowing, right's pushing me further off of the wind. Okay, baby. Are they still up? Okay. I'll come to bed when I'm done. Bye. See if my opponent can get in with their Nirvana. Nirvana's an awesome club. I really like my Nirvana, and I know my rings really well on my Nirvana. I do well with my Spitfire if I can hit it perfect, but I'm more successful with my Nirvana when I hit it perfect. I find myself normally when I'm in my sand wedge, normally I'm in sand that's close to the green. But in those occasions where I find myself in sand that's far away, it's nice to have it. And in many cases, it'll get you back on the green. So the way this hole used to play, if you ended up in that sand right there, you could recover if you had a Spitfire. but now you can't. So they've lengthened the hole out. I like the green a lot better than the old green, but it's definitely a harder hole to get. But I wanted to get up there to see if I could use my Goliath. That's why I brought this bag and I've been playing with the Goliath because I want to try and get this particular hole to see if the Goliath works. I got this hole once and the Grizzly was not, Grizzly's got like 4.5 tops in it. It just was not enough. I'm just sitting here playing, drinking some Powerade, rambling about one thing and all right, here's a hole that we can get. Okay, I'm gonna play. There's a shot on this hole that used to not be there. Used to not be there. There's two of the par threes in this hole that there's a shot that was not there before. Used to not. Fucking redneck shit was that. Yeah, used to not. Okay, used to not be there. And that's the rough bump right in front of the green, right in front of the cup. This hole right here, they took that island out, but they put a rough bump way up there. And before where our red line was with our extra mile, I don't think we could have got there even with a driver. And now you can get up there. But they did put a trough in here. So if you can get high enough up here, you don't, before you had to ride all the way along the edge and then drop down, and that was impossible. But if you can get high enough up there that before you drop down onto this flat, it does funnel to the hole, and that's a new thing that's on the green. That's not. Okay, my opponent's going to emoji spam me, so we'll turn them off. Okay, there's Max. There's Min, so I'm about mid club, so it's about 1.3 per ring. So it's 1.3. There's 2.6. There's 3.9. I'm gonna just do the 3.9 just to see what it does on a normal adjustment. I have no idea. Oh, I hit it at least one ring great to the right. I have no idea because of the way that was not enough of a pull. I did a mid club. I got 1.3 per ring. Which way's the wind blowing? Oh, I think the deal is I did not pull that enough. I did the 1.3. I'll have to go back and watch that video, that part of the video right there, and see if I pulled enough. That would be interesting to know. I either didn't pull enough or I pulled too much. One of the two. And I think I didn't pull enough. So having to move over that sand, bringing a low wind ball on that. I'll have to go. There's a whole bunch of stuff to learn on that video. I could go back and see what the what I had, where my red line exactly was at. Ran a club, so I know what ball I think I had a power 3 ball there. Oh, I had a power 4 ball. You can see where my red line was. I don't think a power 3, man. That would have been really close to the power 3 ball right there. If you had tailwind, you could work it out, or any kind of side wind. But if you had a headwind where you had to actually pull up against the red line, you'd want a really low wind ball, like a power 4 wind. There's a few par 3s in this game that, like that par 3, like bringing out a big ball. There's some benefits to it. Like my opponent's got a kingmaker. My opponent's got a kingmaker. I'm going to bring out the king of balls. All right, we're on a non-tournament hole, so my opponent wants to play with a power 3 ball. I got no problem with that. So I'm going to play with my number 2 bag. I'm going to line up against my red line. I'm going to be inside a little from where I normally am. Doing all that. 6-1. 6-1. Hit it 2 rings to the left. Let's see if I can get in the clear out there. Going against that headwind, I needed a little bit of oomph. the deal is that that shot right there, if you line it up so you're like, depending on your rock, and it can vary between 3 and 4 rings off of that. When you pull it up, there's a little rough area that kicks out into the fairway. If you aim off of that, about 3 to 4 rings. You can do it with a QB. You can do it with a rock. Anything that's got lots of curl. You can do it with a big topper as well. And I haven't tried it with a big topper, but a big topper is just about bringing out a bigger ball so that you can get. What you need to do is get far enough forward so you're already around the bend. It should take very little maneuver. Hey. 7-7. I'm going to take off. I'm only going to do a 7 pull. There's 5, 6, 7. I'm going to take 10% off. Hitting it perfect. Let's see if we can get in the cup. Just a bit outside. And I took 10% off, and if I'd have left that on there with that wind, I'd have been right out the cup. I know the last tournament we played, because that hole is uphill, we had to take off some. It might have only been 5. What I should do is I should go back to how I normally play. I haven't been playing that much because, once again, the lag a month ago, we all went through that. We're in tournaments, and we've had so many tournaments, I've been totally burned out. We did have a week off, which is comforting. Now we're coming into the summer major, but now people are in the mood to play. We're staying at home. We're trying to be responsible, and we want to play. And Playdemic is not trying to make it hard for us to get what we're looking for. So we get on those holes, man, bringing out some bigger balls, trying it out, seeing what's possible. Come on, dude. Never forfeit. All right, Cuba. I think we have time for one more. If it stops in the middle, thanks for watching. I'll play one more. Come on, let's get a Southern Pines here. Let's get a Southern Pines. Let's just get a Southern Pines. Let's end it with a Southern Pines. Come on, man. Be nice to me. Come on, dude. Sequoia Creek. And we roll. Well, you guys might be getting Sequoia Creek. Well, obviously, you're getting Sequoia Creek and you're getting City Park. Obviously. Eric goes first. Birds of Honor. Let's check Eric out. 1,938 games, played in a bunch of tournaments. Let's invite him to the clan. Either a second account, active player, played in a bunch of tourneys. That's the main thing, is playing in tournaments. Wanting to do good in tournaments. That's the whole deal. Wherever you are, if you want to be good and you're just practicing and hey, if you want to play in tournaments, we want to try and help you. And just have fun. It's not about I don't need a power 3 ball. I just need a Quasar. Not wasting any good stuff. I'm way back here. Eight, 6. There's 5 and a half. 6, 7, 8. Max curl. Hitting it perfect. Trying to get over into that fairway and get about 3/4 of the way up it. Without getting into the rough. That might be a little over a half, a little less than 2/3 of the way up it. Yeah, just a little over half. I took out a little too much wind. We don't have to push wind all the time. Sometimes it's better to push wind, especially when you're on hilly stuff and there's sometimes trees are in the way where you have to push it like that one. And they'll have a shot from there. Maybe. Not quite enough ball to get me all the way down to the bottom, but if I had a bigger ball, I could take that same shot. It's coming down that hill face and it's digging in, and so the ball guide's laying its ass off. Hitting it perfect. See if we can get in the cup. See how it's, see it caught the bounce. Didn't take out quite enough wind. Probably should do like a 10% adjustment on it. The deal is it could have just been on how I had it set up right there. It's amazing how many times you go out when you're playing one-on-one, because I don't, a lot of times, unless I really know a hole, I don't normally do adjustments. Sometimes it just feels like you need to do it, or you're going against headwind and you have to do an adjustment. But normally I just try and play the numbers. I don't want to get that technical on one-on-one. I mean, we go through enough of that when we're playing tournaments. And that's a whole, since we're doing the conspiracy theory thing, I mean, that's a whole deal. I mean, anybody who's played the game for a long time knows that, like, now what we go through on these holes, there's better ways to make the hole harder than manipulating that stuff. Make the holes harder. Okay, make the hole so that, like, the shots coming in are always going to be a longer shot, and so and make the holes, and it's harder to get into that spot. I think just looking at Greenwich Point in the last tournament, those changes they made on those par fives made them much easier. And I haven't gotten the holes here enough to see whether or not they're easier now or whether they're harder now. They want to make it tighter, make it harder. The people that are bitching the most, the masses will always bitch the most. So if anybody out there, hey, here's the deal. Anybody out there who is trying to get better at the game of golf clash and loves to play in tournaments, and you just want to play in tournaments, and you're not as like making the weekend round, getting in the top 50, getting in the top 30, getting in the top 20, being a top 10 player on a regular basis, getting banners, is like every one of those. It's like any other thing. There's steps involved in it, and the higher you go up the deal at any division that you're playing, any level of the tournament, it's tough. And so, wanting to get better. Anybody who's in that, I mean, like, we just want to play the game and have fun in tournaments. That's why you're having these tournaments every week, Playdemic, for any Playdemic employee or anybody that wants to make sure this gets on some Reddit about Playdemic. I mean, come on. We all love this game. That's why we're playing it. And you're like dissing us, like serious. I mean, you've had like 27 tournaments in the last 4 or 5 months, and we're getting dissed on the whole deal. I mean, it's not, help out your customer base. Have some fun here. You're making this into a grind because you're not having any fun on your end. And guess what happens when your customers are having fun? They're spending money. This is like a freaking casino. Okay? People are buying the $1.99 pack. People are buying the $3.99 pack. People are buying the $5 pack. The $5 pack has great value. You can use that hole on 2 different tournament holes. So if you save your balls and you hoard those balls for the hole that those balls work the best on. Like, you don't want to get to a hole where you go like, man, I got a ball that would kick ass on this hole, and then not use that ball. That's why you got that ball. But having an inventory of balls, so you're not getting people like, you're like, what the F are you doing to us? Thanks for watching.